Hello friends, welcome to Tutorial Race, and in this video I'm going to show you that how we can create CRUD operation. Guys, 3 years back I had created Angular in the front end and in the back end Flask REST API. Once again, after 3 years, once again I'm going to show you exactly the same thing, that in latest version how you can create front end in the Angular, and in front end in the back end there will be Flask REST API. So guys, after this I will also show you in the backend how you can use Node.js, how you can use PHP MySQL, how you can use Laravel, how you can use C Sharp and also Spring Boot. So through all this backend platform, step by step I will show you. But first let's start to create Angular, and this will cover insert, update and delete. So guys, you will get an idea. And yes, image has been also included, because in practical world, in the real world, without image CRUD operation is not complete. So let's start into the computer. So guys, I will show you in this tutorial what you will learn actually. So this is our backend. So let me start first backend and show you. It's built using Flask. Now this is the server. So let's start this one. Our server is, so you can see there are 2 records, okay, and already there. So we will be using this one. So guys, let me show you one thing. This regarding this, I have already created video so that you can see that how you can create REST API using Flask. This is our channel, so you need to go there and go to playlist, type here Flask, and then you can see this Flask REST API. So this is the video, this is the backend video. So you can go through this, and in this one I'm going to show you the front end part. I will show. Okay, so already I have developed the front end part also, but how I have done that I will show you that step by step later. Now, all right, this is the front end part. So now let's click on this, and then we will go here, open. So guys, you can see all the records that you are seeing here, 1 2 3, it is visible here. Now if I want to add any other one, then I'll write here whatever, and then knowingly I have added this image also, because in practical world you will be seeing that image becomes sometimes necessary, and you will also learn that how you can combine the normal text field with image. Added here, and now you can see this one has successfully come. It can be deleted. For example, this junk one I want to delete, just I'll delete. It got deleted. If I want to edit this, I can edit this as well. So this is complete full stack. In the front end I'm using Angular 20, and in the back end I'm using Flask REST API. So guys, step by step I will show you. The backend part is already done, this one. In the front end I will show you that how I have created all these things, so that you can also get an idea and you can learn how to do this. So I'll create here a project, say ng new Flask. So I'm giving the name something like this. Now let's create the project. Do you want to create journalist? No, for the time being we are not going to create journalist. CSS SSR currently we are not going to use. In the meantime, we will open this project into VS Code. So this is our previous project. What I'll do, I'll add here in the workspace. Add to workspace. This is our newly created project. Alright, so we will be, whatever we will be doing, we will do here. SRC, then app. After this, what we will do, let's create two folders. One folder we will create, that is called models. We will create here models, and then another one services. The model file will create, we will be just defining the rule like all the fields name. In the services, this will act as a bridge from API. Means first we will fetch the data from API, and we will keep inside service, and all the components will fetch or send the data via this service. So that is the idea. After this, we will create a few components also. So let's start creating the component, and let me close this one. It's not required for the time being because we are going to create our own. So cd, now this cd ng flask, all right, and npm start or ng-sar, whatever you write, this will be the same thing. Now our project will start. Let's close all the previous one. Okay, we are going to work in this one, so that I will show you the step that how I have done all these things. So this is model and this is service. Okay, and we will be creating few folders. Folders means component, like add component, update component, and list component. So let's create here, but before that, let's see if it's installed or not. It's our previous one, and this is the new one. Now you can see it's successfully installed. Now we will step by step start creating. So the first thing what we will do, let's take cdn file here because we will be using bootstrap. Okay, just copy it and go to our index.html, which is here, and inside the head we will put here. Since it's localhost, so this integrity cause problem, so we can skip this, delete this integrity. Similarly, so this is our folder structure. You can see this is model, then this is services, and create for creation, and this one is for showing list, and this one is for updating. So similarly we will be creating like this. This is a project structure. So inside model, let's copy and paste this. Let's create here inside model. Okay, we will fill the data later here. Yeah, you can see what actually we have. If you check here, we have email, first name, last name, email, and last name. So according to that, we will have to fill the data here. So inside our model, this will be the field. ID is optional. Why? Because while creating means while inserting the data, you won't have ID initially, na? That's why. At the time of editing, ID will come, that is fine. But at the time of insert, we won't have ID. So that's why we have kept here this optional. But rest of the things are first name, last name, email, password, and image. All are defined here inside the model, and our model name is user. That's it. Its work is finished now. The next task will be to create here our services. This is finished. Now service. So if you go here and check the next step, services, inside this we will be creating here user service. Inside service normally what we do, we write the functions so that, and we call all the API. So we will do the same thing here. So inside the user service we will have basically these things. What we have? Alright, so under models, it's in our case the name is models. Injectable, that means what? This will be available in all other components, this injectable. That's why we have written here provided in root, means it will be available for all components. Now this is user service. Remember here we need to write @injectable. That means whenever you write @injectable, that means what? This is service class, not a normal class. Now next thing is we have to write our API URL. So our API URL is this. So how do we know? If you go here, you can check. This is your API URL. This one. So the same API based URL we're writing, and HTTP client. This one is required to send and receive the data from the server. And now we will be creating all the functions to fetch the data. This one is, this get users is for fetching all the records. This one is for inserting the data, and this one is to fetch single record, and this one is for updating, and finally this one is for deleting. So we have all the functions ready here. In this one you can see what we have. This observable, then see model name, blank array, and then return. What it will return? This to HTTP get and model and API URL. Means from here it will fetch the data and return. This function will return actually the data. So that is the thing. Our service class is also done. Next one we will create here components. Now let's go here and then Control C, we will break the server, and nggc means generate component. Now let's see the name of the folder. So first we will create this component from here. After this we will create another one. We will create actually 3 components. This one, user list to display the list, and next one will be for updating here. This one is also created. Now for updating, user update. That's it. Yes, it's done now. So all the components now we have created, and we will start writing the code. Okay, now let's start the server again. Let's start the server here. So server is now started. Let's close it, and then the next task, let's close this one also. The next task that we need to do is let's start from user list, because first we will show the data here. So inside user list we will here implements ng on init. Okay, after this let's create here model, means we are creating here an object of our model, that is users. This is a blank array. We will fill the data later. After this we will have to write constructor. Inside constructor, as a dependency injection, we will be calling service. So in our case the service file is this, and we have to call the router as well. Still is showing error because we will have to write this function below. It says that we will have to implement it later. And then to display the list we will have to write this function. So basically now the error is gone, because ng on init, this one we are implementing. This is an interface actually. That's why we are writing here implement. So inside this interface, this is the function which we must inherit. Function body we have to write. Now get users, actually we are calling on load. It's like, you know, on body load, this one. And get users, we are calling here this dot service dot get users. This get users is inside service, and then subscribe, the data is coming here, and finally this one is for checking purpose whether the data is coming or not. After this we will have to write our HTML code to display the data. So let's go here, let's remove, and then we will put the code. So inside the user list, these are the fields which we require. What are these? It's very clear: first name, last name, email, and image. So this users of user, that what is this users? If you go here, this is our users, this one. So we are calling here in this HTML, and for of ng4, through ng4 we will be looping this id, first name, last name, email, or we are calling this one is for image, and this is our server path, and this one edit user and delete user. Definitely it will show error because these two functions we have not created yet, so we will have to create these two functions here as well. So let's write these two functions. What are these? Delete user, then id we are passing. So based on id we will pass the id here and subscribe, and this dot get users means after deleting once again load all the users, and edit users is the pass the data, and it will redirect to edit page. So that's it. Now we will have to work on routing here, app.routes.ts file. And now let's write here all the path. So what we are doing, routes, then we are calling here users pool, and then user list that we have just created, let's call it, and then this one is user create component. Alright, so this is not available, it says, and we have to call user update, and then user, okay, the name can be different, and also let's import all the dependencies. Alright, so all the dependency has been imported. Why this one is not showing here? Because let me check inside user list, user create here. Okay, the name is user create, that's why. So we have to name it same, and now it can be easily called here. And then this app from app, this app file we are calling this app.ts. So guys, that's it. What we are doing actually, we are writing here all the route, the component are in this side, and this is corresponding URLs, and finally we are binding this to all the components. This means app component, inside app component. Now let's go to app.ts file, not ts actually, index file, app dot here. What we will do, we will delete everything from here and just we will have router link. That's it. This is our main app file. Now let's run and test the application, what it shows. It's showing here blank. So now why it's showing blank? Because we have to call two things. First we need to import, and this provider means user service, also the service we will have to call here, and these are dependencies which we needs to be called. Router module, okay, actually router we need to call here, no? That's why. So now let's see what happens. So now guys, you can see successfully our data is coming just like I demonstrated you before. So here you can see all the names etc are coming. Let me show you that what happens actually. We can remove this one, it says it's deprecated. Let's see if we remove this. Okay, we'll have to keep this or else. Let's try to add one code here, HTTP client, this one, provided HTTP client. Okay, in app.config.ts. Now let's try. Yeah, so now it's done. Actually in previous version there was an option to call HTTP client module, but now in the newer version in Angular 20 we can write here in app.config at once, this one, this module, that's it. So no need to call anywhere this. So the main point is router module and services we need to call. And then what we are doing here, we are creating an object of this model, and through dependency injection we are passing here, we are calling this function here, this function, and this function is actually connecting to our service file. Let's close it. Okay, it's connecting. This function is actually written here in our service file. We are fetching the data from there and storing here, and finally this data is being sent to HTML file. Similarly, delete and edit user we will do. Delete can be checked here at this point of time only. For example, Tony, if you delete, it got deleted successfully. So delete code is already working. The next task will be to work on add. For the time being, you can see it is showing user creates because our code is blank here. You can see user create. Currently this code is totally blank. That is why. So now let's work on adding the data. So we have to initialize here the form. So we will write here this form group. Okay, this form group, form builder we will have to call, because we are going to use here reactive form modules. That's why. Now let's import the dependency and this form builder also, and user service that we have already created, we have to call this one also, and finally the router. Remember, all these things are written inside here, and also this one is validator, means we can do some validation before inserting. So what we are doing actually, this user form, this dot, all these are these things we are writing inside constructor, and then here inside this we are creating user form instance where fb.group, then first name is required, last name required, this one is required, and validators.email means @ must be given, password will be required, image is not, means this one is not mandatory. Now next task will be to write the code for inserting. This one is for all selected file, means when we will select the file then this code it will take from here and it will store the file name here. Okay, and this dot user form dot patch, this one is for updating this image. So in short you can say we will get image name from here. And finally we will write code for submitting. This is create user, means this is a function for submitting. It will get here in form instance whether it's valid or not. We are creating a blank form data, and finally all the fields, first name, last name, we are appending. After this we have to append image also, and then once everything is done, then create function which is inside service file. There all the data, this as a form data, as a block, as a group, it will send, and finally it will be redirected to the view file. After this we need to write here the create function, means we will have to write HTML code. And the HTML code is not very complex, it's straightforward. What we are doing here, we are creating object of this form group. This is instance of this form group, same user form. If you go to here, insert this in our TS file, user form, we created an instance of this form group as user form. Same thing we are doing here. You can see this form group, we are creating an instance, and this is a function. ng submit is a function. After clicking, what will happen, this function will be called, and this function is written here. This create user will be called, that means it will be submitted. Now next here, input type text, first name, and then form control name, because we are basically using here form builder and form group, that's why. So we will writing here, and not only that, in imports we will have to import here forms module, and then another one is this one, common module and router module. These two we need to import. Apart from that, we need to providers here, and then what is our user service, no? This is our service name. So that's it. Now let's come back here. So this is form control, and then first name, last name, whatever we are putting here, all the fields here. And for image we have to write here input type file, and then our name is, and on change this on select file. So basically on change means this is a function, then this function will be called here. So now if you go here, then you can see we have already written here this function. So if you console this, okay, let's first run this, then we will talk about this later. Alright, now if you click on add user, then it's going blank. Why? Let's check in the console. In the console it is saying no provider for injection. We have written here forms module, common module, router module, user service is also there. Now we need to actually call this reactive forms module, because if you're using this forms groups and form builder, then this one needs to be imported. So now let's go here. Imports must be array of components directive ng module. Create user line number 8. Here router module is fine. Okay, this one is not required actually. So forms module, common module, and reactive form module. These three are required. Okay, so now our form is ready. So we will write here okay. So now you can see successfully the data is being added. So basically what we have done, you have to import forms module, common module and reactive forms module, these three, and in provider, for provider you have to import this one, okay, and then you have to pass all these things in constructor, forms module, user service and router, and here you will have to create the instance of forms group where we can put validation also, and this one is for selecting the image. When you select the image name is taken here. If the file name is fine, then what happens actually, inside the form it patch means image name is attached there, and finally the value of image name is fetched from here. And now while sending the data, what we do, this is one group means text file, and this is one group image. So what we do, we attach both of these together, and finally we send to the service file and it goes to the backend. And now our last part, and that is edit is remaining. So let's do that one. Currently it's showing user update. Inside edit form, the HTML will be exactly same. Just we need to copy this and inside our update HTML we will just put it. Only the function name can be different here. Create or update user, you can name it as update user, that's it. Rest of the things will be same. The changes will be inside our, let's close it, the changes will be inside our TS file, that means here. So whatever we have done inside our create user.ts, like service, and these will be also imported in our user update also, and this forms module also. Let's install all dependencies. Okay, the imports is already there, that's why. Let's delete it. Now we will write the code same way, the way we had written the code in the insert file. So here you will see few things. Once again, this forms groups we need to import form group, and this ID, user ID, at the time of editing you need ID, that's why we are passing here user ID. Then forms builder, once again you will have to call, and this one is used to fetch the URL ID, this activated route, this one, and this validator and all these things are same. You can see first name, last name, email, it will be required email, and password, all that, just like insert file. The main thing will be here, we will create a function called update user. But before that, you need to load the data, because before editing, user will see that what already data is. So what we are doing, we are fetching the ID from URL. This ID we will be fetching this. To fetch this ID, we need this. So we are storing here user ID. Now it is saying if user ID is there, then it will fetch single user from service file and it will patch to the form. Means automatically it will check the form name and the data will attach with that. You don't have to write like in HTML PHP. Normally we write dot value, so something like this. And once again, now the next thing visually update. Now this one will be for select file, means image upload. Just like we had done means insert and update will be almost same. Only thing in update, this will be different to fetching the data. And now finally the update. This one is for update user. That's it. If you compare with insert and update, it is exactly same. All the things are same. The only difference is this one, because what we'll have to do now, you see the data is fetched here now. First you will have to fill the data, and after that user will submit and it will get updated. Actually it will be not add new user, update user, it will be the heading. Okay, so that is HTML, no problem. So you are seeing here, this is add new user, basically this is update. So let's try to update. Let's upload a new image here this time. So I'm taking this ID, the haircut. Okay, the data is successfully updated. So guys, you have seen how we can add here, we can edit here, and we can delete the data. So all the things is completed. In the backend we have used Flask, REST API, and in the front end Angular. Let's recap it what we have done. We have first created model from here, then service file, all the service functions we have written here: get users, create users, get by ID, then update and delete. And then according to that, the API is hitting to the server endpoint, and according to that data is being fetched and same is being called here. This one is for creating the form group, and finally this one is for loading the form, and this one is for selecting the file, means selecting image and attaching both text and image. We are sending the whole data to the server, and it is going to the server and uploading the image as well. So you can see now there is one thing remaining. In our previous example you had seen there was header here, so you can put header also, bootstrap header. So we will write here bootstrap navbar. You can find here different navbar here. This is one of the navbar, second one is this one. So let's take any one of these. Now you will have to put this navbar into app.html here before this, so that it will be available in all the pages. Now you go and you can check this is the menu. Inside this menu you can add here like this add list, and also you can, so better let's do put it inside a div, and here inside this write here container. class container fluid, and in this one will be class container. That's it, guys. You can see. Oh, class 2 class, actually already there is class, no? That's we can attach this class here. Let's remove this. So now it's fine. So this way, guys, you can do complete insert, update and delete with this same Angular. I will later show you how we can do insert, update, delete with Spring Boot, with ASP.NET, with other backend like Laravel. So stay connected and we will see in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.